Hi everyone, let's go over my low time frame bullish and bearish Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin. Starting with the low time frame bearish impulsive scenario, where we are still looking for a move towards the downside in either a wave C, which then consists of a 5-wave structure to the downside, where the most common target is between the 1 and the 1.236, sitting between 28.1k and 27.5k, or the 1.618 in then a wave 3, where we are then looking for a 1, 2 and then a bigger 3, where the 1.618 is a common target for 3, sitting at 26.6k. A couple of things that are however good to know is that wave 2 or B retraced to the 0.382, pulled from the high to the low of wave 1 or A, which is a rare target for a wave 2 and a common target for a wave B. This wave 2 over here retraced to the 886, pulled from the high to the low of 1, which is also a rare target for a wave 2. And then finally, if we are looking for a double 1, 2, with this being a 1, 2 and then another 1, 2, what you actually or usually most commonly want to see is a wave 1, 2, 1, 2 and then a move to the downside, where the second wave 1 takes the low of the first wave 1. But you can see that is not the case over here, as this second wave 1 is higher than the first wave 1. If we go to a more bullish but then eventually bearish scenario, we are looking for a move to the upside and then a wave A, 5-wave structure to the downside, followed by a 3-wave move in wave B for then a bigger C to the downside. In this scenario, the most common target area for this white wave B, as we are looking for an expanding flat in the blue wave B, is between the 1.236 and the 1.38. Now you can see price has moved below, and a rare target for this wave B of an expanding flat pulled, by the way, from the low to the high of this white A is the 1.618, which is in confluence with the support area that we've been looking for around 29k. So that is very nice at least, but then now you would expect a move towards the upside and preferably not see this low taken, also because that low has been made right on top of the daily naked point of control at 28.9k, which is basically the last man standing. This was the final support in this support box, so if price is going to move towards the downside, I do expect lower prices to come. Now in this particular scenario, we are then looking right for a move towards the upside, where two interesting targets are the blue target box over here, sitting between 30.4k and 30.6k, as well as the target box higher over here between 31.1k and 31.3k, also then filling this whole gap. So that is actually quite a nice scenario, after which we then expect again a move to the downside in an impulsive structure. So it's then a 5, 3 and then a 5-wave move to the downside. But what is important to know is in this scenario we are expecting upside instead of downside compared to the other scenario. And then now a scenario I'd like to introduce you to, which is a new one that I show in this video in the updates. This was first posted by Digda Trading, as I don't know how to pronounce this little bit over here, and what she posted in the Discord group was the following. So over here she has been looking for the blue count, and the green count is a sub degree of the blue 3, right? So what we're looking for is a wave 1, 2, and then she has another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a WXY for a wave 4, for then this to be a wave 5 towards the downside, which then ends a potential impulsive structure to the downside. And I actually thought about it, and I looked into this structure over here to the downside, because a wave X has to be a 3-wave structure to the downside. So I zoomed in before making the video over here, and this could indeed be a zigzag structure, and then a potential wave 5 over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, corrective structure, and then a move to the downside that hits the 2.618, which is a very rare target for a wave C in a zigzag, but sometimes these are hit, for then eventually the beginning of the corrective structure being this move. So this low over here is not part of an impulse, it's part of a corrective structure, where this is then a 3-wave move. So you're then looking for 3, 3 and then the rest of the range continues. So this wave X could indeed potentially be a 3-wave structure, which then makes this scenario very interesting indeed. This wave 4 then retraced to the 0.382 in a complex WXY scenario, which is a 3, 3 and then another 3 wave, where X most commonly is a zigzag, so that would fit. The 0.382 is a common target for the blue wave 4, then looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4 and then eventually a wave 5. Gotta say that this wave 4 though is incredibly long in time compared to this wave 2, which is a bit unusual, but nonetheless an interesting scenario to show you, for then the low of wave 5 being made on the 0.618, which is pulled with a trend-based fib extension from the high to the low of 3 to then the high of wave 4. This is one of the ways, one of the 3 or 4 ways you can get a target for a wave 5. So preferably this is then the low of a potential 5, and we are going to be looking towards the upside. So in a nutshell, this is the one that goes to the downside, right, where we're then looking for a C or a 3, and the other two scenarios are both going towards the upside, either in then a B wave and then down, or we move up in continuation. It all depends on how a potential 5-wave structure to the upside is going to be formed and what kind of volume we are going to get if price is going to move towards the upside in an impulsive structure. Because if 5 is finished and we're looking for upside, you want to see an impulse for continuation on the higher time frame, but also over here in a wave A, B, and then a wave C in an expanding flat is also an impulsive structure. So in both of these scenarios, you like to see an impulse. This low over here, right? Well, a wick and then up, okay, I could allow that. However, if we close candles below this low over here, then I think we are going to visit lower prices indeed, where the 27K area is going to be very interesting. If we shortly zoom out, then you can see that also in the support area of 29K that I had on the chart over here is the value area high of this range over here, which is exactly what we are testing right now, or potentially back testing after we broke out for continuation, right? That's the question. The thing is, if price finds respect below this value area high, then from a range trading perspective, potentially one can back test the value area high, and then you'd be looking for the value area low. So this is important in case price is going to respect the inside of this value. The other side is a target at 26.3K. Of course, it does have to pass the point of control over here at 27.9K. If we look at these CVD divergences, then we do have a 4-hour CVD divergences over here between this low and the higher low on the chart. Now this invalidation is all the way down here, so even if price would continue to lower prices, for example the 27K area, then what happens, simply said, is the bullish CVD divergences are going to move with price towards the downside, right? So there's a lot of flexibility over here, so take this one with a grain of salt, but it does add to the confluence for potentially another move towards the upside. Maybe not directly, down and up is also fine, but at least it adds to the confluence of not taking this low over here at about 24K. If we do then zoom into the local structures over here and we have a look at the AGGR chart and I refresh it quickly, then what we can see over here is after this low has been made, CVD is quite neutral. So if I remove the bit of the chart that is irrelevant, so from the low, you can see over here actually price made a small higher high. So there's no bearish CVD divergences at the moment. Nothing is really going on, and there's also no bullish CVD divergences. So everything is pretty neutral on the lower time frames. Then we have news this week, and that is going to be important, and probably that's going to decide which direction we're going to go towards. 8 p.m. on Wednesday, we have high impact news, 8:30 p.m. Central East European time, by the way, 2:30 p.m. on Thursday and 2:30 p.m. on Friday. So make sure you are prepared during those hours. If we then finally talk about the probabilities, but first Instagram, is I made my Instagram public for all of you, or at least it's private, but you can now follow it. And we have 33 followers. Those are the YouTube members, but I decided to make it public now, so you can check this one out. I'll be updating a lot because from tomorrow I can't update you for 2 days, so Tuesday and Wednesday, because I have a speaking event in London, right? So if you live in London, make sure to send me a message, but I have to speak there, and I'll make sure to keep you up to date with some Instagram stories and stuff, so you know where I'm hanging out. And I make sure to be more active on my socials as well, so you can actually see what I'm doing outside of trading, because I'm also a global keynote speaker. And then on Wednesday I have to speak in London, but I have to travel tomorrow, so therefore it will be difficult for me to make any updates tomorrow and Wednesday. And then finally, the probabilities. Well, looking at the probabilities of these scenarios, either to the downside or moving towards the upside, it is quite difficult to say. As long as 29k is not broken, it's bullish. If 29k is broken, it's bearish. It's as simple as that, right? Looking at the different scenarios, what is not that great is, of course, the 886 hit that we have over here, the 382 for then a potential C. But C is still lower targets. A 112 is not the cleanest as we like to see. So potentially the more favorable one at the moment is slightly towards the upside. As I wrote over here, I wrote neutral, right? Because of this support area that basically decides for me bullish or bearish. But I did write maybe slightly towards the upside because also the volume that we have. Because if we look on the 30-minute or actually go even to the 1 hour, then you can see the volume over here that we had with this move to the downside is quite low, especially compared to the volume we had here during this drop. But also this drop to the downside had more volume than the volume of this move to the downside. So yeah, the volume is not that high just yet. But that's the word, yet, right? But at the moment, because of the volume, the 112, that is not the cleanest, and a potential wave to it over here, which, yeah, the 8 or the 886, it potentially a bit more upside is expected. But what I personally look for and how I am trading this is I am currently in, well, I'm in a short, of course, but before I would be looking for longs, I'm waiting patiently for more price action, more proof of structure, CVD divergences, and all that good stuff. I want to see a bit of some waves to the upside, maybe a retracement, some CVD divergences, or something else that you might look for in your strategy. But at the moment, I am in no hurry too long whatsoever, and that is my personal strategy. I want to wait for clarity because we are in a downtrend. Volume was increasing over here, so it can as well just move towards the downside, and then we know the areas that we are looking for. That's as simple as it gets, right? So sometimes with Elliott waves, it's pretty much 50-50 between the bullish and the bearish scenarios, and we have to wait and see what happens more locally to decide, are we going up or are we going down? Still, moving to the upside has a slight favor based on the analysis and also the triple top that we have. So it would be brilliant to stop all the shorts out that have been shorting in this range. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the most recent educational video I've made about the best trading indicator you can use. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'd like to see you at the next one. Bye bye.